talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to The Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Welcome to The Changing Stage. You reached Florentino Buenaventura, and we have a great show for you today. We're going to be all about the San Diego Jazz Show, the event that's going to be happening this weekend. And we've got one of my favorite artists, a guy I've been listening to for quite some time, Mr. Johnathan Butler. Are you on, sir?
I'm fine. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, Johnathan. Thank you for coming on. I know that you're really busy. You're getting ready for the concert this weekend.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. You know, we're all looking forward to it. We're about to pack our little bags and get on our way.
Yes. Where are you going to be coming from?
We live in Los Angeles.
Okay, so
we live in L.A.
Not too far down. I wasn't sure if you were somewhere else in the world.
Not too far, exactly.
This is actually your second year doing the San Diego Jazz Festival, right?
Yeah, this is my second year. Yes, we had a fun. The first year was very cool too. You know, it was a really fun time for us as well. So, and you know, I get a chance to take my kids down on Memorial Weekend, and now that I play golf, I have every reason to drag my golf clubs with me and have fun.
So you make it over to Torrey Pines?
I say it again?
Are you making it over to Torrey Pines?
No, I haven't left yet. I'm still home.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Home. I haven't left yet. Yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Well, we've got the Torrey Pines golf course over here for you, so we're waiting for you to get out there.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it, you know?
Yeah, last year I had a friend that was just, she came all the way from Arizona, Margot. She came just to see you, man, and it was a blessing to her because, one of the things that you do is not only do you do jazz and R&B, but you also bridge it to a spiritual side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I've been blessed over the years to be able to do, first of all, for me, it's not just about music. You know, it's about ministry. It's about imparting more than just songs, and your hits. And it's about your spirit. It's about who you are truly as a spiritual person. I think it's all, I cannot separate that from who I really am, and what's really been awesome for me is that, if I can say it out loud,
please do.
God has allowed me to do this because I would never have done this just out of, on my own, I did a lot of praying and soul searching over the course of my career, and this is over 30 years that I've been praying about this day where I can go on the stage and share all of me and not just, the songs that people come to hear and leave, but they can sort of go through the experience of me as a South African, me as an artist, me as a spiritual person who's a born again Christian and has lived and walked this faith life and expresses it through music,
I'm with you. I'm 100% there. I'm actually, I'm also a believer as well, and I know it's not easy walking in a secular world as well as also keeping your faith, strong and
well, then what I'm saying, but, the most important thing for me is, I wouldn't say it in that way. Maybe I should put it differently. I didn't grow up in church like some of my friends that I know, grew up in church, whether Baptist or Methodist. I came from a family that was broken, was poor, but not poor in spirit, but was poor, in the sense that we didn't have food, we didn't have we didn't have a home with electricity and running water and, you know, and you could take a bath and have a shower. We had to wash outside and, make boil the water in a pot. We all washed. We had 7 brothers and 5 sisters, and life was very difficult and very challenging. But music was our means of escape. You know, we could always go to music whenever we had struggles, you know. But like I said, it's very important, you know. It took many years of really just praying and asking God for that. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I gave my life to you, and now I'm in this place where, you know, there's always a war going on, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you on that, 100%.
I mean, anyone that is a Christian in the music business or just a Christian period in a secular environment, you know, you want to know what you're called to do, and you want to pursue it, and you want to know that you have a sense of peace in your mind about it when you move forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that was my struggle. That was my sort of personal struggle as I was growing up.
I think it's all of ours, quite right. You know, any walk in life, you're always seeking to do better, and that struggle is there. In fact, I don't know if, you know, I want to make sure that the listeners know, you came from apartheid South Africa, so it was not only did you have financial challenges, but you had some other challenges, and you were, you know, it's amazing your story. Can you tell us a little bit about the history?
In this, you know, especially this weekend, as we approach, you know, I've been living in the U.S. now for a long time. As we approach Memorial Weekend, you know, I am reminded that I've raised my children. Praise God, I'm able to raise my children in a land of free speech, because when I was growing up, there was no free speech. You know, we couldn't play music we wanted to. We couldn't even talk about Miles Davis, you know, or Herbie Hancock or Martin Luther King. You know, we could not have those conversations because, you know, we could not play in places. We had to play for whites one night, then we had to play for blacks one night, and it was just, and then you have to play in what they call the colored community, which is another dynamic of the South African consciousness and society, which has not changed, still not changed, and probably will not change. There will always be whites, coloreds, blacks, Indians, and the in-between races. So I grew up in a very, very skewed, you know, country where things were just not always, you know, like I said, I hope people who are listening, you know, understand that this is, you know, I was blessed to raise my kids in the land of free speech.
Yeah. We have no clue what it was like over there. I'm 100% certain of that. You know, you were kind of like the Jackie Robinson of music business for South Africa. You were the first black gentleman that was played on white radio. Is that correct?
That is the truth. That is the truth. And believe me, I was so young that I did not even know what that really meant. You know, I didn't even know what that dynamic was and how much that would have has impacted our society. Because for me, all I wanted to do was just to make music and be on radio. Because, you know, my heroes, Stevie Wonder, Jackson 5, you know. Those were like my heroes, and I'm like, my God, I would love to be on radio one of these days and be like these guys, you know. And I was approached by a gentleman by the name of Clive Calder and Ralph Simon, who the founders of Zonda Jive Records, who now has Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake and, you know, R. Kelly. And I met these guys when they just started out. They had very little as a small independent label. And I made my first records on that, with that company.
Out of the UK, right?
Out of UK, yeah. And we did extremely, I mean, my first record, I couldn't believe it, went into number 2 in the pop charts.
Yeah.
and I got my first equivalent of a Grammy then, and had 2 gold records following that, and then the next single came out, and then I had another more success with a song called I Love How You Love Me that I believe Peaches and Herb did years ago.
Okay.
And so that gave me another gold record, and I've been in the business ever since, you know?
Yeah.
Ever since, yeah.
I remember when you were really starting to cross over on the More Than Friends album when you did a partner with Teddy Riley for production.
Oh my gosh, yeah. House production was hot.
Teddy was the hottest producer at that time. In fact,
Teddy was the hottest thing, period. Yeah.
I think he defined that producer with a sound type of thing that we see nowadays where, you know, producing, I mean, I'm kind of go back with you in the years in the business, and producing before used to be a guy who basically understood the vision, understood the artist. It wasn't necessarily always musical, and he would just basically give direction on where the album would go. And then you got Teddy Riley comes along, and he said, here's a sound, here's a groove. We're going to make you, we're going to bring you out to this whole new relevant hip sound. And definitely, you took the storm with that album. That was a #1 album, right?
It was. You know, the crazy thing is, it's like, you know, I think I was taught in this business that you've got to, as an artist, you have to raise eyebrows, you know, otherwise you sort of kind of get yourself stuck in a place where you just can't, you have to be sort of innovative and recreating who you are and reinventing yourself. And I mean, such was the Miles Davis, and you know.
Hey, Johnathan, I hate to interrupt you. We got looks like our commercial break came a little early. We'll be right back in about 3 minutes. I'm going to follow up with that.
Okay.
Are you an adventurous wine drinker? Would you enjoy trying a bold red with dark fruit and a spicy finish from Hungary? Or an amphora-style Chivi Pinot with layers of complex flavors? Carpathian Wines hand selects extraordinary wines from premier Central European wineries. At CarpathianWines.com, you'll find amazing dry whites, big juicy reds, even the famous Tokaja Azul. Discover award-winning limited production wines from the heart of Central Europe. Find them only at CarpathianWines.com.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get to the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at ProgressiveMedicalCenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
When did men lose their way? Was it Hollywood portraying us as wimps? Is it the daytime serials where we're on our hands and knees begging for affection from women? Is it all the talk shows telling us women want a sensitive guy or a macho man? Well, guy, how does it feel to spend $200 on a couple of dates and never hear from the girl again? Doc Love's The System can change all that. 35-plus years of Doc Love's life has been devoted to a simple question posed to over 10,000 women. Why do you choose to stay with one guy versus another? Doc Love's The System is a realistic approach to dating written just for men. Visit DocLove.com today. That's DocLove.com today for more about this system. It's time to reclaim your manhood. DocLove.com. The system will change your life.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
You're back listening to the Changing Stage on the WS Radio Network, and we are here with Mr. Johnathan Butler, the amazing Johnathan Butler. You back there with us, John?
Yes, I'm right here.
Awesome. So we were talking a bit about your history, and it's just an amazing history. I mean, you overcome so many struggles, and and you've kept a heart of love and passion still for this day to do what you're doing. And you've got the concert coming up this weekend. What can people expect? What will they expect about the passion that you're going to be delivering this weekend?
Well, just that, and the fact that it's really all about, first of all, I'm just incredibly grateful to be able to go out and do what I do. And I mean, to me, it's just such a blessing.
And for us too, we're grateful too that you're out there doing it.
And I'm eternally grateful, trust me, to be able to do what we love, I mean, it's a conversation that I have so many times with my friends, as we sit around and we talk about where we've come from and just how grateful we all are to be making music. And I think for my fans, I really, for the fans, I think it's important to take them on a journey, take the fans on a journey that really they can experience a moment, even if it's just a moment of just where you've come from, and speak, even if it's for 45 minutes or 20 minutes, just speak about who you are through your music and opening yourself up to that, that vulnerability, that openness, that transparency, and just leaving it on the stage and leaving people with something more than just entertainment,
Yes. You took the word out of my mouth, transparency. That's definitely
I think that's really the heart of who I am. There's always this running joke in my house about the kind of father I am or the kind of person that I am. And the running joke is I really just wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm an super emotional person. So, and sometimes almost too much, to the fact that I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve too much,
Yeah.
But to me, it's almost like catharsis. It allows me to get it off my chest. It allows me to just empty out so that God can pour more in, so that God can pour more into me, as opposed to like, I don't want people to see that side of me, I don't get it.
Yeah, well, you got to be yourself. I think for any artist, whatever your belief is, it's the transparency. It's about sharing who you are with your fans, with your audience, and just giving it with complete, total love.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand the theory of, you're one person on stage and a whole other person off stage. I don't understand that concept. I don't know what that is. But I have been, there has been sort of, people that I've seen, who are sort of one way, but then another way, and that is kind of a very, I don't think I come from that place,
Yeah, I found.
I don't think I come from that place. Yeah, I don't think I come from that place at all.
I think sometimes it's just funny because certain people you think are going to be the sweethearts, they're not quite that way, and the people that you think are going to be the, like this person's not going to be a sweetheart, and I just like it's amazing the differences. I won't say any names, but I've run into that more often than not. So
yeah. Well, the thing is, for me, music is not it's not a hobby or just I went to school for this thing, and now I can, and I've learned a few leaks, and,
yeah.
and now I'm going to go out and use that leaks and really get the crowd all, are you entertained?
Well,
I think I want people to experience, even if there's imperfections in the performance.
Yeah.
I want them to experience all of that.
And I think you're a big inspiration for people. Again, our show's about the music biz, and a lot of the listeners are people that are looking at making it or are in the biz working. And I think that's you're a testament to how you can come out of impossible odds. You can do what you love, and you can have a spirit that is just giving and positive 100% of the time. And I think that's a testament and inspiration. In fact, that kind of comes to this in this forthcoming album that you're coming out. It's living the dream, right? Or living my dream.
Living my dream. Yeah, I don't know if you've read my bio about this album, but it took a lot for me to get there. Because, the last 2 years I've been sort of really going through a lot. And the motivation, I have to tell you, the motivation was purely my children, my daughter and the co-writer, her friend that co-wrote. I mean, they kind of lifted my arms through this process, because I wanted to just take a break and calm down and not deal with music but it's so funny because I moved into a new house about 2 years ago, or 3 years ago in Encino, and I don't know why, man, but I just began to I think I began to declare that, I'm living my dream. It became sort of a declaration of sort, and
I understand that.
And then I would, they would drag me out of my room. They were like, Dad, you're gonna write today. Just like Kevin Hart, you're gonna learn today. And Dad was like, no, you're gonna write today. And and if it wasn't for them, man, they pulled it out of me. And I felt, I felt like 52 years old. I've raised my kids, they adults. I have a granddaughter.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for a very long time. And you know what, man? I just thought, you are living your dream,
Well,
you are living it. You are living your dream. And look who you're playing with. Look who you hanging out with. Look where you are. Look at your kids. Look at your life.
Yeah.
And you still love the Lord no matter what.
Exactly.
And this album is really that bridge of me. It's almost like a return to guitar, to singing, and also, it was one of those records that I thought, well, I first started out with the world music record. I thought, you know what, let me just start out doing a real total South African project. Let me just go all the way home and just do that, And then everyone around me was like, no, you got to sing. You got to sing. You have to sing at least something,
Most people didn't know that you probably started out, you were mostly the guitar player before, and then you moved into vocals, and that.
No, but as a kid I was singing. I wasn't playing guitar as a kid. All the early stuff was all vocals.
You were? Okay.
Yeah. And then by the time I was 15, 16, I've been playing all along, but it wasn't really like, it was something that I thought would be a part of, attached to my, almost like Stevie Wonder. You cannot separate the harmonica from his voice, or his piano chops from his voice,
Yes.
And so, I mean, it literally, and then I just kind of opened up the pool a little bit and worked with George Duke. I mean, that was just the best.
Yeah. God rest his soul. Amazing man.
I'm telling you, it was the best experience that I can tell you that I've had. Just because before George passed, we just became very close.
Yeah.
We just became George's wife, Corinne, was a big sister to me, you know, when I moved to LA. When I moved to LA, she was...
Jonathan, I hate to interrupt you, my man.
Yeah.
This is never enough time. I would like to invite you back sometime in the near future. You've got the Love and Soul tour with Norman Brown and Alex Rognon. Everybody out there listening, make sure you look for that tour because this man is amazing. He's been an inspiration for all of us, and just want to say thank you again, Jonathan, for coming on the show today.
You are so welcome, brother. So welcome.
Take care, sir.
You're welcome.
Progressive Medical.
Hey, this is Heidi Rue, and you know, Progressive Medical Center has literally changed my life and my health, but I'm not the only one. Adele suffered from bone deterioration, bone overgrowth, profound muscle discomfort, physical exhaustion, and mental fog. In fact, the bone deterioration became so serious that she had to have back surgery. Well, after the surgery, she still didn't feel well, and so that's when she heard about Progressive Medical Center. Progressive Medical Center discovered that her adrenals weren't working properly, her hormones were out of whack, and the drugs she had been taking were doing more harm than good. Adele came into Progressive Medical Center in a walker, physically and mentally exhausted. But now she's a world traveler. She hikes and walks several miles a day, and it's all thanks to Progressive Medical Center. 770-676-6000. 770-676-6000.
Progressive Medical. This is your life. Live it well.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind. Connected World Magazine is dedicated to reporting on the next generation of M2M and connected devices. Subscribe today for only $12.97 at connectedworldmag.com/subscribe. Written for the fast-paced, device-enthused individual or business, Connected World Magazine provides unique insight and analysis to all things connected. Subscribe today for only $12.97 at connectedworldmag.com/subscribe. Connected World. Living the connected life has never been easier.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Hi, this is Felix Taberna, host of Race and Sports Radio. Join our cast and crew every Saturday and Sunday right here at WSRadio.com, beginning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Race and Sports Radio.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
You are back with the Changing Stage radio show on the WS Radio Network, and my name is Florentino. We just had Mr. Johnathan Butler on, and oh man, this is an amazing, amazing show for us because we've got the top tier talent coming on board. We have Mr. Brian Culbertson here. Brian, are you on?
Yes, I am. How you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing great, man. I'm got a chance to talk to Johnathan. Now I'm talking to you, man. You're the #1 artist right now on Billboard for the jazz charts, and I'm just living the dream at this moment, like Johnathan said.
Man, I'm right there with you. Right there with you.
So, where are you coming from? Are you here in town yet, or are you on your way?
Yeah, I actually came in last night. I just did a TV appearance this morning, so I've been up for a few hours already.
The life of a musician, way late at night and then get up early in the morning. Good, great.
That's right.
That is awesome.
That's right.
Well, sir, you're like Johnathan's, your history is amazing. You started off at a young age, and you were out of Decatur, Illinois. And how does a guy from Decatur, Illinois, fall in love with the urban sound of jazz, funk, and R&B?
I mean, I just grew up listening to bands like Earth, Wind and Fire and all that kind of stuff, and also the beginnings of contemporary jazz, like David Sanborn was a huge influence. So guys like that I was just really into, and I started classical piano, but what got me excited was getting into jazz and composing my own music. And once I got into high school, that was full steam ahead. That's all I wanted to do.
Well, that is awesome. And you were like, 20 years old when you started your recording career. Is that correct?
Yeah, I actually moved up to Chicago. I went to DePaul University in Chicago, and while I was in school, I made my first record in my apartment, shared with 3 other roommates. So, it kind of brings us to my new record, Another Long Night Out, which is a remake of that first record that I did 20 years ago, which was called Long Night Out.
Yeah.
So, I've always wanted to redo it. Because I've said it, but I liked the songs, but, the production when I was 20 years old, hey, it was my first time out. I was just still learning the tricks of the trade. So over the last 20 years, I've learned a few other things. And, met some other people. So, this remake is really was a lot of fun to make with all these amazing musicians on it.
Yeah, I've seen the list, and I'm just floored by that. Lee Ritenour, Eric Marienthal, Rick Baum, Steve Lukather, Paul Jackson Jr. I mean, the list goes on. I could actually take a whole show just naming all the people that was on this album.
Johnathan Butler also, and Candy Dilfer, and we could go on and on. It's kind of a who's who in the jazz world, but it was just kind of a dream of mine to redo that record with as many of the greatest players that I could get to come in the studio.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what our show's all about. We have a lot of people in the industry listening. It's it's all about gear and gab, talking about the music biz, and at 20 years old, did you see this vision of you working with all these amazing talents and being, the inspiration and the impact that you've had on both the jazz and R&B charts? What was the vision that you had at that age?
Well, I mean, there was the vision when you're first starting out is, I just want to make music. I had no real aspirations of being an artist, really. I knew I wanted to write music and produce music. I thought about maybe going into film scoring or this and that, or being a producer for other artists, but, I did my first record, and it kind of sparked this whole career, and again, it just came out of nowhere. I didn't really expect it or even want it. It just sort of happened.
Now, how did that record get picked up? Were you signed at that particular point when you produced it? Did you shop it? I know it's a different market now today than it was before. So,
here's what happened. I did a 3-song demo, literally 3 songs. And I sent it to one person that I knew in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
His name is Bud Harner, and he was a drummer. And then ended up deciding to stop touring, so he started working at a record label doing radio promotion. I had met him when I was younger in the education world and kept in touch, and so I sent him this tape.
Yep.
It was a cassette tape back then. And he was like, wow, this is really cool. So he immediately went in and played it for the other guy at the label. It was Mesa Blue Moon Records.
Okay.
It was an indie. They were just basically doing contemporary jazz and some world music. And literally they called me up, and 2 weeks later signed me to a 6-album deal. And, here I am, a sophomore in college, absolutely freaking out. Like, holy crap, I don't even believe it. So, you know, the first record, they didn't really give me very much money, so, because they weren't sure what was going to happen. So, it gave me a little bit of money, and I bought a couple reverb units and paid a guitar player to play on a few songs, and that's about it. And so I had to do pretty much everything else myself in my, bedroom studio. So that's how it turned out.
Yeah, and you know, 6 #1 debuts later, you've got a new album that's come out. We talked a little bit about that earlier, Another Long Night Out. This one was a little bit different. It almost kind of goes back to the roots, not only sonically and, or I should say artistically, but it goes to that indie spirit that you had back then too as well, right? You did a... you did a project where you put it out to Indiegogo and shared it with your fans to be part of that experience. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, it was, the first time in my career that I have been, not on a label. And I just felt that now in this, the record business climate, that now was the right time to do that, because there is so many ways to interact with the fans directly these days that we didn't used to have. The label model is you make the record in secrecy, and then the label releases it upon the world, and then, okay, sure. But now it's like, okay, we lift the curtain up. I'm doing video blogs during the making of. I'm having people get a part of it, obviously in the Indiegogo campaign. So where a lot of people got really cool perks, a couple even got to come in and hang out at the mastering session. Stuff like that, is really, really exciting to me. And I think the fans really dig it as well. Just something new, fresh, and fun that, we could all share in.
Yeah, I think that's the key, because transparency. We were talking about that with Johnathan early on the show here. That's a key, and I think that when the artist gets the chance to see who you are inside, that just or the fans get a chance to see the artist who they are inside. It's an amazing experience for them, and instead of trying to keep that veil up or the velvet ropes behind, keep them behind that. So and with this album, you've worked with so many incredible people. What would be like that one moment that you're thinking, wow, this really stands out in my mind?
I gotta say the session that stood out the most to me was the first rhythm section tracking day, where I went in with Will Kennedy and Jimmy Haslett from the Yellow Jackets.
Okay.
And everybody knows who the Yellow Jackets are, and so Will Kennedy, or actually that whole band, was a big influence on me as well. And when I made the first record, I was literally programming the drums on my drum machine to try to emulate Will Kennedy. And so when I, fast forward 20 years, I'm doing the remix. So who do I call? The first call I made was to Will Kennedy. I said, Will, I got to tell you. And so I told him the story. He was obviously very flattered. And I said, man, whatever you do, I got to get you to play on this record. So he actually played on 5 cuts on this album.
Awesome.
And the first session we did was Fullerton Ave, that song. And when he first started playing, I was like, oh my God, it was one of those goosebump moments where it's like, wow, that's what I originally intended. And now he's playing what I was trying to program to sound like him. So it was this crazy, just, atmosphere in the studio where I'm just sitting there smiling to myself, laughing inside. He's like, what? I'm like, you don't even understand how cool this is for me.
Yeah, and I can imagine, when you first started out, the drum machine probably was what? A Lindrum DMX or something like that. So it must not have been the easiest drum machine to program, Will's chops.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I had a Roland R8.
Oh my gosh, you were using a Roland R8 to do that with? Do you still have that thing? Because that thing's worth a fortune right now.
Man, I sold that sucker a long time ago.
Yeah, that's like the most sought after drum machine still to this day. That was a great. I had one of those too. We're going to be taking actually a short pause. So, I just want to remind everybody that the San Diego Jazz Festival is this weekend, and you've got amazing talent. Brian, I know that you're going to bring it, and we're going to talk a little bit about that when we come back on. What you're going to be on today or tomorrow? I'm trying to remember the lineups.
I'm actually playing tonight at 6:30.
That's what
I go on right before Maxwell. So we hit at 6:30. I think he hits at about 8 something.
Great. Well, give us a few moments. We're going to take a pause for the cause, and we'll be back in 3 short minutes.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goli, one thing that you have helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life, live it well.
Your guy, Doug Young, here for Sports Squawk Saturday with your guy, Doug Young, here on WSRadio.com. Hear hot Charger talk from the biggest names in sports every Saturday here on WS Radio.
In the military, things can change in an instant. The Navy Mutual Aid Association, we understand, because it's our life too. That's why our dedication to serving the life insurance needs of our military veterans and their families is unrivaled. Navy Mutual offers superior life insurance protection without military service restrictions and limitations. A single focus on providing the peace of mind military families are looking for. That's what we do. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve. Call 800-628-6011 or go to NavyMutual.org.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage. Music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
The Changing Stage, back with you, and we've got Brian Culbertson on with us. Brian, you back?
I am. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're doing a call in. We understand that sometimes, phones are phones. That's the phone business. So we definitely appreciate.
I'm on the road right now.
busy man, and technology kind of lends a lot to what goes on in this world nowadays. In fact, we kind of like to talk a little about gear. This new album, what kind of gear did you use to make this album? Did you use a studio? I think you mentioned it's a studio in your house. What are you using, man?
Well, I do have my own studio that I built about 10 years ago, and I always sequence with Logic and record and mix in Pro Tools.
Okay. Is there question for that? Why
record? I'm sorry?
I was going to say, what's the thought process behind that, as opposed to just doing everything in Logic or everything in Pro Tools?
Well, I like the way Logic works while sequencing, and I think their audio and mixing is kind of clunky. And then vice versa on Pro Tools. I don't like the way MIDI and sequencing works on Pro Tools. I just got used to these two different ways. So I got two different computers, and I transfer in my tracks from Logic over to Pro Tools, and I just like how each one handles, these different tasks differently.
Very cool. That is an actual, a great process to do that. So you use, for the DAWs, you're using both Logic and Pro Tools, folks. Remember that. Give that one a try. What are some of well, for one, you play like everything. You're like Prince, man. You play like, 1,000 different instruments. In fact, someday I want to hear you play the euphonium, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, well, one of those symphonic band instruments from high school left over. So
yeah. So
now and then I gotta bust it out, man. It's a cool sound. What can I say?
Yeah, man. That's the first time I've ever seen somebody list the euphonium on their list of instruments that they've played. Now, I think your main instrument is predominantly. I've seen you on the piano, and obviously you can play a lot of other stuff. What are some of the what's the gear that you use when you're on the road? What are you going to use at the San Diego Jazz Festival?
Well, most of the time when I tour, I use a Roland RD800, which is a new version of the Roland RD700. When you can't get the 8 yet, I use the 700X. And that's just a great live piano. You got all the controls right on the surface where I can tweak the EQ. I can tweak the reverb live on the fly. There's all these knobs and buttons, so I can always be tweaking my piano sound, which is fantastic.
Do you use a computer virtual instruments when you're on the road? Or is everything hardware?
No, I just like to use that Roland piece. I get a great piano sound out of that, and that's pretty much all I use. Now, my other keyboard player, Eddie, he's got a whole rig of stuff that he's using, including a Hammond B3 with a Leslie. He's using all kinds of stuff. So I don't even know what he's using. It just sounds great.
Well, hey, definitely, and I know the people here in San Diego are going to appreciate that. And number one album, you launched that on your own steam. That's amazing. But that's not everything you do. You've grown into another arena, and you've kind of blended the two. You have your own wine, right?
Yes, I do. I started my own wine and jazz festival a few years ago up in Napa Valley, and it just seemed fitting to release my own wine now that we have the Wine Jazz Fest. So I worked with one of the wineries up there that we're partners with, Jameson Ranch Vineyards, which is where we're holding our Saturday and Sunday outdoor concerts this year, which is only 2 weeks away, by the way, June 11th through the 15th. And so, in partnership with them, I created my very own Pinot Noir, which just came out. So I'm really, really happy with that. And I ordered 2 cases myself. I actually bought them. It's just so good. So,
hey, you got to bring it on the road for sure, definitely.
Oh, man, totally. Yeah, I can go through that like water, man. It's awesome.
Well, yeah, and taking the steps that you took for the career that you have kind of leads into these fun other areas of passion. And then, I think the big thing, too, is you get a chance to play with some amazing players. Like for this concert, you've got just a wide range. You've got everyone from Eric Benet, Lee Ritenour, David Grusin, Ohio players, Morris Day and the Time. I mean, again, the list goes on.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other idea for the Napa Festival, to bring a broad range of music up there that it still all fits together. Thursday night I had Jazz Legends Night.
Okay.
So I said, you know what, let's get Dave Grusin and Lee Ritenour and Earl Klugh together and put some together and just create these interesting, evenings. And Friday night is funk night. We got the Ohio players, and I'm putting a funk show together with my band, with Eric Darius, and we also got Keenan Ivory Wayans is our comedian that night. So,
oh man,
yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
You're making me miss Northern California for sure. I wish I was back up there for that time.
Oh man, come on, get in the car, road trip.
Definitely. Yeah.
Not really.
Well, what's next? What do you've got all these great things. You've got you've got the #1 album right now, just launched. You did it yourself, so it proves that nothing can hold you back. You've got this, you've launched your own wine. You've got your own, concert production company. What's next for you, man?
Oh man, I'm gonna keep working at Napa hard. I got a great team. They're just tirelessly working on making one of the best events that you can go to. I mean, it's really a whole lifestyle event, not just about the music, but about relaxation, about hanging out, about drinking wine, eating great food, and so I believe it's one of the most unique events that you can go to and really hang out for 5 days. That's why I call it the getaway.
Yeah.
You're truly getting away to wine country, I say leave the kids at home, and leave with the grandparents and come on out and hang out and have a great time. So I'm really focused on that. My next musical project, I'm thinking about recording a live album, which I've never done, live in front of an audience, and put that out next year. So that's kind of my next goal musically, and then beyond that, I got another album on my sleeve that you'll find out about next year.
Oh, awesome! we definitely got to have you back on. So here's my question, because it's like you've played with everybody. Who do you want to play with next? I mean, who haven't you played with that would be like, to do the part of the album, maybe get on stage with? Who are those folks?
Oh man, there's a million people I'd love to work with. Obviously, I've worked with a lot of great people, but there's just a massive list. And some people that I would never be able to get the chance to work with, but others that I might. So, who knows? We just got to wait and see. I just got to start making calls, and you never know who knows about your music and who doesn't, and that always helps. If somebody already knows about you, call them up and say, hey man, I really want to collaborate. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So
yeah.
I got a massive list of people that hopefully over the years I can get to work with some of them.
Well, it's amazing nowadays. You see people like Justin Timberlake working with Michael Jackson today, with this new album or song that they launched. So anything's possible, right?
Great. That is true. That is very true.
What do you feel about technology today versus yesterday? Are you more of a fan of the digital world? I mean, we talked about that with with Logic and with Pro Tools. Do you miss the days of the 2-inch 24 track?
I mean, obviously that has a sound to it, but when I started, I was using 2-inch.
Yeah.
And it's obviously very, very expensive and limiting. Very limiting. So, you can say what you will about the sound of digital, but I think it's fantastic to be able to have all these tools at our fingertips and to be able to do what we're ultimately, have visions in our head. Hey, I want to do this. Well, guess what? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Before, with 2-inch and all that, it was like so many things you just could not do.
Yeah.
So now I I love technology and always embraced it. But I think, I was one of the first generations to kind of grow up using a Mac. I started using a Mac when I was 12 years old, right when it first came out.
Wow.
And so, I got to grow up, again, being one of the first musical generations to grow up with that and sequencing and keyboards. So, that's kind of what I know, and I'm loving it.
Great. Well, we never have enough time for these segments, man. I'd love to have you come back here in the near future. Maybe when you're in town, come into the studios and we could just sit here and talk the biz. Last thing, what would you like to say in one sentence to those listeners that are new, that are just coming to the biz?
Oh, wow. I think it's important to, for become a new artist, you got to really find your own signature sound and not try to be chasing radio or trying to sound like somebody else. You got to have a unique situation.
All right. I hate to cut it short. Thank you. This is The Changing Stage.
Just don't have the time. With Audible.com, you can catch up on reading simply by listening. Audible has the largest collection of digital audiobooks, over 85,000 titles in every genre. Listen to a bestseller on your iPhone, BlackBerry, Android smartphone, or one of 500 other compatible devices. Visit audible.com/WS Radio today and get a free audiobook when you try Audible free for 14 days. That's audible.com/WS Radio.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
When it comes to printers, Canon technology has changed the way images and text are put to paper. Canon's laser beam printer technology has redefined both color and black and white printing standards in over 80% of the world's laser printer. Canon's bubble jet printing technology has completely revolutionized color printing by consistently delivering new innovations from personal use and home office businesses to corporate solutions. Canon printers have the technology and reliability you're looking for. Learn more at Canon.com.